What is sitemap? A sitemap is a file that shows the structure of a website, including its pages and content and the relationships between them. Search engines use sitemaps to crawl websites more efficiently. Having a sitemap is an important part of SEO. There are two types of sitemaps. XML sitemaps, sitemaps written in a specific format designed for search engine crawlers. HTML sitemaps, sitemaps that look like regular pages and help users navigate the website. XML sitemaps are the preferred format of sitemaps for search engines, such as Google. They carry three primary kinds of information for search engines: the list of all the URLs you want to have indexed, that last mod attribute that informs when the URLs were last updated, the reflang attribute that informs about the local variant of the URLs. XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. It's a format that makes it easy for search engine crawlers to read a sitemap. Google says sitemaps are suitable for large websites, websites with extensive archives, or new websites with few links. However, every website can benefit from having an XML sitemap. There are really no downsides to having one, and it only takes a few minutes to create one. HTML sitemap used to be a popular way to improve a website's navigation and provide links to all your pages in one place. Here's an example of an HTML sitemap. HTML sitemaps can improve your internal linking and provide another layer of navigation for complex websites with many pages. However, do not use an HTML sitemap as a replacement for good site navigation elements such as menus, footer links, breadcrumbs, categories, etc. In other words, users should not need a sitemap to navigate your website. The easiest way to find an XML sitemap is to look for it manually. Most commonly, a website sitemap will be located at this URL address. As you can see, a sitemap index is a simple file that lists all the sitemaps of a website. Yes, there can be multiple sitemaps. To see the actual sitemap, just click the link to the specific sitemap in the index. Search operators are special phrases or symbols you can add to a search query to return more specific results. Here are some search operators you can use to find a sitemap on a website. You can use these operators in all the popular search engines, such as Google, Bing, or Yahoo. Simply enter the operator into the search bar and replace domain.com with the actual website's address. If you have access to a website's Google Search Console, there's a chance the sitemap has been submitted there. Head to the Sitemaps report in the indexing section of the left menu. Here, you'll see a section called Submitted Sitemaps. If someone has submitted an XML sitemap before, you'll find its URL in the list. A robots.txt file is a set of instructions used by websites to tell search engines which pages should and should not be crawled. Robots.txt files guide crawler access, but should not be used to keep pages out of Google's index. Robots.txt files might seem complicated, but the syntax, computer language, is straightforward. We'll get into those details later. In this article we'll cover why robots.txt files are important, how robots.txt files work, how to create a robots.txt file, robots.txt best practices. A robots.txt file helps manage web crawler activities so they don't overwork your website or index pages not meant for public view. Robots.txt files tell search engine bots which URLs they can crawl and, more importantly, which ones to ignore. Search engines serve two main purposes: crawling the web to discover content, indexing and delivering content to searchers looking for information. As they crawl web pages, search engine bots discover and follow links. This process takes them from site A to site B to site C across millions of links, pages, and websites. But if a bot finds a robots.txt file, it will read it before doing anything else. The syntax is straightforward. Assign rules by identifying the user agent, the search engine bot, followed by the directives, the rules. You can also use the ***𝗏𝗏 to assign directives to every user agent, which applies the rule for all bots. The robots.txt file is hosted on your server, just like any other file on your website. View the robots.txt file for any given website by typing the full URL for the homepage and adding robots.txt at the end. A robots.txt file should always live at the root domain level. For www.example.com, the robots.txt file lives at www.example.com/robots.txt. Place it anywhere else, and crawlers may assume you don't have one. Before learning how to create a robots.txt file, let's look at their syntax. A robots.txt file is made up of one or more blocks of directives, rules, each with a specified user agent, search engine bot, and an allow or disallow instruction. The first line of every directives block is the user agent, which identifies the crawler. If you want to tell Googlebot not to crawl your WordPress admin page, for example, your directive will start with user agent, Googlebot, disallow WP admin. Most search engines have multiple crawlers. They use different crawlers for standard indexing, images, videos, etc. When multiple directives are present, the bot may choose the most specific block of directives available. Let's say you have 3 sets of directives, one for asterisk, one for Googlebot, and one for Googlebot image. If the Googlebot news user agent crawls your site, it will follow the Googlebot directives. On the other hand, the Googlebot image user agent will follow the more specific Googlebot image directives. The second line of a robots.txt directive is the disallow line. You can have multiple disallow directives that specify which parts of your site the crawler can't access. An empty disallow line means you're not disallowing anything. A crawler can access all sections of your site. For example, if you wanted to allow all search engines to crawl your entire site, your block would look like this. Directives such as allow and disallow aren't case sensitive, but the values within each directive are. For example, photo is not the same as photo. Still, you often find allow and disallow directives capitalized to make the file easier for humans to read. The allow directive allows search engines to crawl a subdirectory or specific page, even in an otherwise disallowed directory. For example, if you want to prevent Googlebot from accessing every post on your blog except for one, your directive might look like this. Not all search engines recognize this command, but Google and Bing do support this directive. The Sitemap directive tells search engines, specifically Bing, Yandex, and Google, where to find your XML sitemap. Sitemaps generally include the pages you want search engines to crawl and index. This directive lives at the top or bottom of a robots.txt file and looks like this. Adding a sitemap directive to your robots.txt file is a quick alternative. But you can, and should, also submit your XML sitemap to each search engine using their webmaster tools. Search engines will crawl your site eventually, but submitting a sitemap speeds up the crawling process. The crawl delay directive instructs crawlers to delay their crawl rates. To avoid overtaxing a server, i.e., slow down your website. Google no longer supports the crawl delay directive. If you want to set your crawl rate for Googlebot, you'll have to do it in Search Console. Bing and Yandex, on the other hand, do support the crawl delay directive. Here's how to use it. Let's say you want a crawler to wait 10 seconds after each crawl action. Set the delay to 10, like so. Use a robots.txt generator tool or create one yourself. Here's how. 1. Create a file and name it robots.txt. Start by opening a .txt document within a text editor or web browser. Note, don't use a word processor, as they often save files in a proprietary format that can add random characters. Next, name the document robots.txt. Now you're ready to start typing directives. 2. Add directives to the robots.txt file. A robots.txt file consists of one or more groups of directives, and each group consists of multiple lines of instructions. Each group begins with a user agent and has the following information. Who the group applies to, the user agent. Which directories, pages, or files the agent can access. Which directories, pages, or files the agent can't access. A sitemap, optional, to tell search engines which pages and files you deem important. Crawlers ignore lines that don't match these directives. For example, let's say you don't want Google crawling your client's directory because it's just for internal use. The first group would look something like this. Additional instructions can be added in a separate line below, like so. Once you're done with Google's specific instructions, hit Enter twice to create a new group of directives. Let's make this one for all search engines and prevent them from crawling your archive and support directories because they're for internal use only. It would look like this. Save your robots.txt file. Remember, it must be named robots.txt. Crawlers read from top to bottom and match with the first most specific group of rules. So, start your robots.txt file with specific user agents first, and then move on to the more general wildcard, asterisk symbol that matches all crawlers. After you've saved the robots.txt file to your computer, upload it to your site and make it available for search engines to crawl. Unfortunately, there's no universal tool for this step. Uploading the robots.txt file depends on your site's file structure and web hosting. Search online or reach out to your hosting provider for help on uploading your robots.txt file. After you've saved the robots.txt file to your computer, upload it to your site and make it available for search engines to crawl. Unfortunately, there's no universal tool for this step. Uploading the robots.txt file depends on your site's file structure and web hosting. Search online or reach out to your hosting provider for help on uploading your robots.txt file. First, test whether your robots.txt file is publicly accessible, i.e., if it was uploaded correctly. Open a private window in your browser and search for your robots.txt file. For example, /https://xyz.com/robots.txt. If you see your robots.txt file with the content you added, you're ready to test the markup HTML code. Google offers two options for testing robots.txt markup: the robots.txt tester in Search Console, Google's open-source robots.txt library, Advanced. Because the second option is geared toward advanced developers, let's test your robots.txt file in Search Console. Note, you must have a Search Console account set up to test your robots.txt file. Go to the robots.txt tester and click on Open robots.txt tester. If you haven't linked your website to your Google Search Console account, you'll need to add a property first. Then, verify you are the site's real owner. Some important think of robots.txt file